Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And good evening and welcome. Our first item on the agenda is our open forum. I have one request. If anybody else would like to speak on anything that's not on our agenda, you still have an opportunity to see Chief. Our request is from Alex Lloyd, 909 Ashley Court in Westmont. And I had a chance to talk to him before. He's going to talk about his concerns on the smart meter. And he does understand we've entered into a agreement with ComEd, but he still wants to make sure so podium's yours.
Hi, I've been a resident here for 15 years. I used to work for Siemens Energy and Automation as a technician and traveled around and been in shops and where all the controls and all the electronics go haywire, and seen a lot of problems, and a lot of the times it was grounding issues. My concern is with the smart meters. I received this postcard. I'm not sure exactly when, but what I did is I brought some CD-ROMs to share information. Unfortunately, I didn't make it when ComEd was here, but I do have a couple concerns, and I thought, even though I missed them, it still should be addressed anyway, like I'd said before. So I think that there's a safety issue going on, and possibly health issues and liability insurance issues here going on that I've run into. And so I guess I'll start with the safety. And on these CD-ROMs, I burned in 8 of them. And you can use it just like a USB drive, and just put it in there and go through your Windows Explorer and open up your folders, and inside will be the files in there, and just go right on through from the beginning. I tried to put it in a logical order. From what I understand, they did a breakdown of the old meters that we have now versus the new ones. And the newer smart meters, they don't have a metal biplate, and they do not have the 2 surge arresters which connect up to the ground rod. So the ground rod acts as a safety. Current goes in the path of least resistance. So if somewhere along the line, if there's some kind of a surge or from lightning or whatever it may be, or your home gets hit by lightning, the idea of the ground rod is it's going to absorb that, and it's going to go right into the ground to protect your home. So now that was as of 2015, unless they've made a modification and change. The information and data that I have is a year old. So I don't know if that's still accurate or not, or if they've made a change or modification, because there's been problems going on. The other issue is, a number of homes, and thousands of homes have caught fire all over the country. And in Burr Ridge, when they had their meeting with ComEd, let me get this out so I get this right. Okay. One of the homeowners, he spent like 700 hours researching this, and his name was James Holderman. And what was really good and really kind of hit me was the gentleman from ComEd, who is Mike McMahon, Vice President of Automated Meter Infrastructure. And he brought up the issue because none of the insurance carriers are willing to assume any liability issues that may occur with these smart meters. And so naturally his position was, well, who's going to assume the responsibility if there's no carrier out there? I mean, he checked into Lloyd's of London and all sorts of carriers, and he really dug into this matter. And so if ComEd or if an insurance carrier is not going to assume any kind of liability, whether it's a fire or some kind of health or safety issue or whatever it may be, then what's going to happen? But nobody brought up what I ran into is I was shopping around for my homeowners. And so through my ARP, I got my auto. I thought, well, okay, I'll combine, the two together. So I asked him, I said, well, if for some reason my house catches on fire with one of these new smart meters, is my home insured? Do I have to worry about it? And he said, you're the first person that's asked this question. So he says, you know what, I'll have to take it up with the upper folks, and got back with me a couple days later, and he said, no, we don't. And it came down to the terminology that was used. Now, I'm not a lawyer. He says it came under vicarious liability. So I'm not sure exactly what that meant, but the homeowner's policy will. So people are getting caught in this catch-22 where if something happens, and I do have on the CD-ROM where ComEd has admitted to their smart meters catching on fire, so in various locations. So if you have a problem with your homeowners and they don't take care of you, and if we have the other issue, liability on the other end because the homeowner's policy, they say, well, take it up with your utility company. The utility company, most of the time, from what I'm seeing out there, they're saying, well, it's not our equipment. It's something you're doing wrong inside of your house that caused this problem. Well, the homeowners are like, well, my old meter, I've had it here, never had a problem. You put this meter in, and a week later, boom, we got this issue here. But I think that it's important, that these meters, they need to be grounded. And it's a very important issue. And another thing with these new smart meters, when they run into their peak times, like in the summertime, when peak usage, I guess is what they call it, they can actually control your household. And people like me, I've got an oxygen machine, I've got other medical equipment, and when I need it, especially when I lay down. That's mainly, primarily. As long as I'm up, I'm okay, but when I lay down, I got to have it. But I'm worried, is that going to present a problem with my air conditioning system? Because when it gets hot and humid, I have to have my central air or air conditioning. And I have other medical equipment, and I'm on home monitoring. I've got several medical issues going on, and I do have medical hardware inside of me, and so naturally I'm concerned because I feel that, I should be able to feel comfortable and safe in my home and not have to worry about something like that. And I wish I could have been here.
Yeah, Alex wanted to come before the board, and I said, he asked about 3 minutes. I said I'd give him a couple more.
Well, okay.
And but I also told him the best way to get his answers is with staff. So I think staff, if I remember right, ComEd commented on those homes that have a medical issue. They've set policies up to avoid what you're talking about. So I would say that our Public Works Director, Mike Ramsey, will probably, if he can set up a time to sit down with you, he can at least find out some of the answers to that.
Well, yeah, and one other, when this gentleman, Mike McMahon, was at Burr Ridge, he said, in order to defer, now they had a resolution, so you can either call them to defer, send them a letter, or tell the installer when they come out to your home. Now, can I do that here? Can I follow that same procedure that was given to Burr Ridge, even though our village hasn't performed a resolution?
And that's a good question for our.
I'm unsure.
Yeah, we'd have staff. I think the best solution to have staff pull out policy, contact ComEd, and answer your questions for you.
Okay, so, because that was the idea, I thought that I would bring something in, share some very, very good information. These are, doctors with PhDs, and these are people from MIT and, you know,
We'll still take that from you. We'll take the information and,
Share it.
you know.
yeah,
we
I
had-
made 8 of them.
I know you did, and not to get into details, but, I mean, they're using Chromebooks now. They don't even have DVD drives. So IT will put it in a directory where they can share all that. I mean, I'll get the information to the village board, and they can all review it.
I mean, there's just so much going on with this now, and now ComEd has gone to the Illinois Commerce Commission, and now they want to delay it till July of 2022 instead of the program, you know, ending in 2019 due to some kind of problems. And I mean, there's just stuff going on out there. I still think they need to tweak some things in, but my idea was, rather than me try to, I thought it'd be a good idea. These are experts. These guys know what's
we'll
going
take that.
on,
Yeah.
and you know, like the one video, it shows the meters. They take it apart. They give you the whole analysis, and I thought, I don't know. I just thought that was my way of, you know, trying to spread the wealth.
And that's quite appropriate. I think the best solution is that staff try to find out those answers, and I hope that from when you had this research from 15 that ComEd has corrected some of the issues you've talked about. So Manager May will take that and pass that along, and I appreciate you coming in. You know, he was a little...
Well, you know, I am disabled and everything, and this is my first time here. Hey, so I am kind of nervous here.
Oh, you did a good job. Thank you. Thank you. Again, thank you,
I
Al.
wasn't sure, you know, how to do this, or if I'm doing this thing right, or...
We have your contact information too, right?
No. Okay, I made a bunch of these. The ones that say number 2, they have all of the Burr Ridge stuff. And where the issue came up with Burr Ridge is the very last video where they had a meeting, the town hall meeting.
So there are 1s and 2s.
Well, what I did is I started out, and then when I found that, I said, oh, wait a minute.
If
So I got, there's
Mike Ramsey, Mike's
these are the
gonna...
ones without the stuff from Burr Ridge.
Mike, why don't you come and take the information so Manager
I
May
don't know, I
can...
just thought-
We'll move on to report.
I guess I'm old-fashioned. I'm still using
That's
the,
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you know, pass it around, and somebody wants to look at that. I mean, there's a lot of excellent information in there that I wish I could have been here
Well,
before.
thank you.
So,
We appreciate
You
you.
did the right thing. Thank you. All right, that's the only open forum request. We'll move on to reports. The first one is my report, and I have a couple items.
Karen's not here tonight.
Karen's not here, so we delay that. The 95th anniversary student essay contest, you can go online and sign up for it. We're going to announce the winners on November the 10th. This morning, we had the State of the Village presentation at the Oak Brook Hills Hilton, which is sponsored by our chamber, and they did a fabulous job putting it together. And I do have to compliment the staff, Community Development Director Ziegler, our new police chief, Jim Gunther, and of course, Larry Forsberg, who's an Economic Development Director, put together a great program that in an hour, we stayed within an hour, that really showcases where we're at this past year. The 100th Anniversary Committee, we're in their 95th year. On November the 10th, the meeting, which is also the our date that we were incorporated. At that meeting, we will unveil the first of 5 murals that depicts pre-1921. And every year, till we get to the 100th, till the mural's complete, it'll have a different era. So we're kind of excited about that. And on November the 10th, we'll also have the 100th anniversary members here, the committee, as well as the essay winners. So that'll happen on the night of that board meeting. I have one other item that is, I feel, extremely important and that we're very proud of. I know last meeting, our clerk, Jenny Simsky, was absent because she was in Springfield. And Jenny has been extremely active in the State Clerks Association. And in Springfield, she received the Ilion Krabel Member of the Year Award, which basically is the best professional in the state of Illinois last year. Quite an honor. And I could just read a couple of the criteria. The clerk is a role model for all. They bring enthusiasm and a positive outlook to their position and community. They are humble, unassuming, and quietly work to get the job done. The word no is not in her vocabulary. They're involved in the community, the Regional Clerks Organization, and MCI. The clerk's involved in a member of the Rotary, the Lions Club, the Old Main Street Association, as well as volunteering for all citywide events. She has attained the designation of Registered Municipal Clerk, Certified Municipal Clerk, and is working toward their Master Municipal Clerk certification. The clerk is also one of the few to be recognized as an IIMC fellow. The clerk, Jenny, was elected in 1997, and next year we'll be celebrating 20 years as our clerk. And I think the Clerk of the Year exemplifies the qualities and much more. And Jenny is an honor, and I think we have a picture of you. I think we have a picture, Larry, of
The picture?
this night's going to go very strange. This is Jenny receiving her award, and I think it's an honor to not only Jenny, but a community of Westmont. It was in Springfield, and her whole family surprised her, and they were there, including your grandchild. So I think from all of us, we want to congratulate you and hope you continue with us for years to come. So thank you. This isn't for me, this is for you on behalf of the staff and village board, a little something for you to show our appreciation for what you do for us. So.
Thank you. Working with all of you is just a pleasure. I love you all know that. I love the staff. I'm so attached to town, you'll never get rid of me, probably, unless you vote me out.
Yeah.
No, you are the greatest, all of you, so.
When I saw the flowers there, I assumed you brought them. That's what I thought. I said, those had
She
to be
does
from
all-
Denny
yeah.
to today, so I'm glad.
Yeah. Well, again, congratulations.
Thank you very, very
And
much.
since that's the end of my report, it's going to flow right into the clerk's report.
And one thing I do want to add on the end of yours, my plaque had to be corrected. They misspelled Ginny on it, so.
Not Simsky?
Not simple. Go figure. But they also, there's a bigger plaque that I will bring in and will hang, and it has probably the last 6 or 7 clerks of the year on it. My name will be on there too, and that had to be corrected. So I'll be proud to share that with our town and all of you, and then I have to give it back in a year. And I do have a few announcements. The Rotary will be doing the 5K during the holidays. It'll lead off the Saturday after Thanksgiving, when the Small Business Day, when at 9 o'clock in the morning we'll run the race, so that'll be happening. I have to thank my little clerk, Alicia. She has departed us for her maternity leave. I assume that in the next few days we will hear there's a baby because she was going into labor a little bit. Veterans Day, I want to remind everybody that the Village Hall and the village offices will be closed to the public. We'll be here working, but we won't be open to the public. We'll be doing our cleanup day. I have a few other things. I want to congratulate everybody on that trick-or-treat trail that worked on it. Larry, it was just outstanding. Closing the street was such a wonderful idea. I have to congratulate our Public Works Department who won the casket race with their really fancy casket that had lights and smoke and horns and everything else, and it was still the fastest one. Yeah, it had everything. And I think the fire department came in second. They were close, but they just couldn't overtake them.
They know they came in second.
Also, Police Chief Gunther just barely pushed him over, won the pumpkin toss for the men, and just got a little bit by our Deputy Fire Chief Riley. He just was, Riley had a bad day. He usually wins everything. I'm not finished. And I have to thank Jimmy Wright, who allowed me to be put almost on top of the target for my pumpkin. And they gave me a small one on top of it. I told Larry I wouldn't do it unless he gave me a small pumpkin because I watched Tracy Valario try to heave this thing that weighed I don't know how much. So, and I don't know who won the women's.
Oh, I think we're going to announce
Just
that.
mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Trustee Barry is going to announce
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry.
She left. No, she left.
Oh, she left?
She had to go.
And then this morning we did have a wonderful State of the Village address, and I want to also praise you, Mayor. You did a wonderful job. So you praised everybody else that did, and that was, of course, the Police Chief Gunther, Community Development Director Ziegler, and Larry Forsberg. But the mayor started the meeting, and he signed off the meeting, and I was very proud of you. You did a great job.
Thank you.
So, now, my last item is that you can do early voting now in Downers Grove, and Yorktown are the closest to Westmont, so if anybody wants to vote early, that's where I would go, either place. Downers Grove Village Hall, which is 801 Burlington Avenue, or Yorktown Center in Lombard. So that's all I have now. I talked enough.
Well, thank you. We'll move on to Trustee Cub fan Nero.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. Our next Public Safety Committee meeting will be December 8th. And then I'd like to call up our police chief to discuss a little Halloween safety for us.
Thank you, Trustee Nero. Halloween is upon us. It's this Monday, October 31st. Weather looks like partly cloudy and 68, so it should be a beautiful day for the kids to get out. Our hours for trick-or-treating is from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Sunset is roughly 6 o'clock, so visibility is always of a concern. For the kids, we suggest that you walk in groups, have high visibility bags, glow sticks, use the crosswalks when you can to cross the streets, and only go to homes that are well lit and look inviting. And don't be going to houses that look vacant or are dark. For the motorists, please watch for the kids. They'll be everywhere, so avoid distracted driving. And for the parents, please check all the candy, throwaway packaging that looks tampered with, and then please turn on your porch lights so your home looks inviting for kids to walk up. There are more safety tips on the village website, and there's a press release out that Larry McIntyre put together. So let's all have a safe Halloween holiday.
And you said it was from 3 to 7?
2 to 7.
2 to 7,
Yeah.
okay.
Then school should be in session, so for all intents and purposes, it will be 3 to 7.
Well, the little ones.
Except for little ones.
That's true. Or if once some kids want to play hooky and duck out early. Beat the crowds.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. All right. Fire chief or deputy chief, do you want to recap the open house and silent parade for us? Thank you, sir. I offered my Cubs jersey for him to wear.
I was going to wear Cleveland, but I
Tried to make them look good for once.
Open house was well attended. We think over 300 residents came to see everything that we had to offer. The winds were not in our favor that day as smoke was blowing as we lit the burn cells, was blowing smoke right into all the residents, but we did not have any complaints that I know of. Nobody with smoke inhalation. We did have a few people stung by bees. But overall, a good experience and a great attended event. And the night before was the silent parade. Only 32 fire vehicles this year, which is a little disappointing, but as being the 22nd annual silent parade or 21st annual silent parade, but they're looking at better ways to get more community involvement and fire departments surrounding the area involved next year. So again, they're talking about reversing the route. If you saw it, the route was very packed through Hinsdale all the way into Lisle, but we're just trying to get more fire department participation. So we hope to see that next year.
Very good. Thank you, sir. That is all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Trustee Guzzo.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would also like to echo the sentiments of the clerk. Trick-or-treat trail, pumpkin smashing, which I did chicken out of, and Caskets on Cast was great. I know that our Public Works facility won the race, but I do want to recognize the fire department because they actually had the most creative caskets, so everybody was a winner who attended and who participated, so thanks again. I also want to thank the Park District. My husband and I attended the Haunted Forest Saturday night. It was wonderful. I was actually very glad that my husband is on the rather bigger side, and he protected me from several ghosts and goblins who got me backed into a corner in the maze, so I want to say thank you to him. It was great, as always. Every year it gets better and better. The crowds were amazing. We got there at about 6:30, and I think we finally went through the Haunted Forest about 7 o'clock. So we were on the scary end of it, and it was just great. Everybody I talked to had a wonderful time. The weather was great, and so it was nice. So next year we'll see everybody again. And then the last thing I want to say is our next Finance Committee meeting will be Thursday, November 10th at 4 o'clock. Thank you, Mayor.
Trustee Barker.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things this evening. So as we're talking about the trick-or-treat trail and the haunted forest, this year Westmont First and the Chamber partnered together for the food drive for the PRC. And we had a concept this year where we gave out grocery bags to the people that wanted to take those home and make a donation on their family's behalf for the PRC, whether it be groceries or cash donations or whatever, to be collected at the Frosty and Friends Parade. At the trick-or-treat trail, it was easy to give those bags away to people. They were asking for them, they were putting their hands out and everything. It was a very, very nice experience. And then we went over to, Larry and I went over to the haunted forest, and we caught the people after they got off of their haunting. And, you know, not only did we pass out bags over there, we also, Larry was surveying everybody that got through the trail, and nothing but positive responses. So, you know, again, attaboy to the Park District for all the work that they do there. But that was a great night or a great day, and I just wanted to say we'll have more bags available through the schools, through the library, and also through some of the businesses. So we'll have bags available up. We hope to have them available up to the Frosty and Friends Parade if anybody would like to get them. And then before this meeting, we had Community Development Committee, and we went through again all the things that Community Development and Code Enforcement are doing in the community with properties, neglected properties, and permits, and all of those things related to community development. And I want to say that everything is looking good. To summarize, and if you have any doubts about that, I would encourage everybody to go to the internet when the State of the Village address becomes available and watch that. Westmont is making a lot of progress, and I'm very proud of that. And then finally, last night, some of us had an opportunity to attend the 100 Club meeting in Lisle and honor some police and fire above and beyond the call of duty. And it was a great night there as well to see these men and women that went out and did heroic work on behalf of their police or fire departments. So I want to thank them for that opportunity as well. That is all.
Thank you. Trustee Addington.
Two things. First one is next Wednesday, which is November the 2nd. Can't believe we're talking November already, but we are. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Economic Development will be meeting here in the room behind me. That'll be at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so, again, that's open to the public. Anybody who would like to come. We've had new businesses almost every month. And I don't know, Jill, do we have something new coming in?
Yes, we have one item on the agenda, it's Wednesday the 2nd.
Wednesday the 2nd. So Economic Development, 9 o'clock. And the other thing is that Strategic Plan Committee, Implementation Committee will be meeting that second week in November. We normally have a meeting the second Tuesday. Well, that happens to be Election Day. It will be here. So Steve and I will see if, with the others, if that's a problem. But normally we would meet that second Tuesday, but we'll advise everybody if we're changing the time of that meeting. And but Strategic Plans continues to move forward on a very strong basis. We're looking forward to see Amy Quantrone's update on the branding initiative that she started as a subcommittee. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. I only have one comment, and that is the Administration Committee meetings. The future meeting schedule is yet to be determined. When it is, I'll make an announcement.
Thank you.
One thing that I forgot, which is remind everybody to vote, not November 8th, but by October 30th, you have to vote for your favorite scarecrow,
Oh,
which is extremely important. Then you can vote on November 8th if you haven't done early voting. But
now,
how many scarecrows do we get this year, Larry?
I think we had 16.
16.
Voting is available up until Monday the 30th at midnight. It's a close race.
Yeah. So if you get a chance, you go to the chamber website and cast your vote for your favorite scarecrow.
And that voting ends when?
Ends on the 30th.
The 30th?
Yeah.
and they're quite visible in the evening now that we started our
Yeah.
new
With the
holiday
trees, yeah.
decoration in the trees, so.
Well, again, some very creative, there's some nice scarecrows out there, and so cast your vote for your favorite.
All right, Trustee Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just like to piggyback what a lot of people have mentioned about the state of the village. Yourself, Mr. Mayor, Steve, Jill, Chief, Larry, it was really something to be proud of, as Bruce said. It really puts all of the accomplishments and all of the activities going on. So I definitely encourage everyone to try to watch the replay. It's very impressive to see, and we were fortunately got to see it at the meeting before here, a little bits and pieces of it. And one of the things that was highlighted at the end was the importance of the volunteers in our town, and I'll kind of segue that into our pumpkin smashing. If we want to recap just the winners, I know Tracy had to leave, and then maybe we could lead that right into the.
I'll just go ahead and mention the winners real quick. Glenn, if you can do the overhead projector, as well as showcase that we got front page on the Bugle.
Oh.
And I believe that, I'm not exactly sure who that is. It might be Bob Fleck. But anyway, you can see the pumpkin up here, so it's a pretty good loft there. But the winners ended up being Jim Gunther. He's the new Pumpkin Smashing King. And then slightly narrowed out Deputy Chief Riley. And then the new Pumpkin Smashing Queen is Tracy Valerio, who unfortunately had to leave to go tend business, but anyway, they'll be back in a couple weeks for the presentation, and she narrowly beat out Amy Quattrone, last year's winner. So a lot of fun. We had 20 total competitors. So, and then I guess I should mention that Clarendon Hills President Len Austin came over and had a competition against Mayor Gunter, and they had a side bet. Whoever loses was going to pay for breakfast up at Golden Basket, but it ended up being a tie. So at least that's the way I'm going to state it, so.
Thanks for doing that for me.
At least 3 in Westmont, that's good.
Yeah, right.
And then Jill, if you wanted to, if we could just piggyback that about the Richmond Education Garden?
Yes, we are having our next fundraiser for the Richmond Education Gardens at Potbelly in Westmont. It's from 4 to 7 on November 3rd. That's at 19 West Ogden. 50% of the proceeds will go to our educational garden. And our staff is also going on tour. We're presenting to the Knights of Columbus, the Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club, the board, and we've also spoken to the Lions Club and the Park District. We appreciate all the interest and excitement from our volunteer organizations in the community, and several of our trustees have reached out personally to ask for the presentations. And so, yeah, have a sandwich at Potbelly on the 3rd, and hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. And then lastly, the Environmental Improvement Commission. Again, the electronics recycling is going to be the 3rd Saturday of every month. It's from 8 a.m. to noon at the Downers Grove Township Highway Department. That's at 317 East Quincy. And you can go to www.avarecycling.com. And there are some fees for TVs and some computers, so if you want to check that, they're minimal fees. And then lastly, the Public Works Committee update. There's a lot of activity going on. Not only did they help with the downtown pumpkin smashing, the current alley project is going on and very exciting. The bricks are going down, a lot of activity. We encourage everyone to take a look at how nice this is going to be and how pedestrian friendly this will be. And then lastly, a lot of people have noticed that the Public Works is putting up all of our street lights. And a lot of comments. It really looks nice. It's getting darker earlier, so they're really showing off. And that's what I have for you today, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on to the consent agenda, I want to thank some additional staff. Larry McIntyre, who basically assisted in putting together the entire program today. Manager May and Spencer Parker was involved in putting the information together, and of course Glenn Lozenberg, who was there to video the entire presentation. So I want a big thank you to the staff. Does any board member want any item to be removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to read, please.
On the consent agenda this evening, first are the village board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the village board meeting held October 13, 2016. Followed by finance ordinance number 13 in the amount of $1,795,466.87. Next on the consent agenda is the September financial report. Board to consider a motion to accept the financial report submitted for the month of September 2016. Purchase orders. First purchase order is AMAC Environmental and Infrastructure in the amount of $144,630.09. This is just the encumbering purchase order for the contract that you already approved at the last meeting. This is for the design work at Richmond and Grant. Similarly, the next purchase order, ESI Consultants, $89,800, is for engineering services already approved regarding 6101 South Cass. And you're just approving the purchase order in whole now. The payments will be made as the work is done. Next purchase order is West Central Municipal Conference, $48,995. This represents the, this is, with the following purchase order, which is also West Central Municipal Conference for $85,680. This second one represents the actual purchase of the nursery stock, the tree inventory, 482 trees. And the first purchase order I mentioned is the actual contractual planting of it. So they're not planting everything that's being purchased. Some is done in-house with Public Works staff, so that's divided up that way. Next purchase order, last purchase order, Bradford Equities LLC, $274,000, which is, I'll also point out, is also an encumbering purchase order. There's also an agenda item later. This is the total amount from the 2013 developer's note, the 2013 agreement regarding the developer's note. And Yes, once this note has been issued, the PO will be used to make monthly payments based on sales tax and TIF property tax generated. This is we're doing this as an encumbering purchase order, that's the aggregate amount, but the payments would be monthly, and because our timing of our board meetings are not necessarily tied to the month like these payments were, you'll see some of these, periodic payments done made with what's called the out-of-cycle process, and then you would be actually approving that individual purchase in retrospect. Total of all purchase orders, $643,105.09, which brings the total of purchase orders and finance ordinance number 13 to $2,438,571.96. That concludes the consent agenda. Mayor.
Do I have a motion to approve as read?
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second by Little.
Motion been made and seconded. On the question.
Are the
Yes.
trees for planting for next year, is that the way I'm to understand that, Steve?
This is the fall planting.
So they'll be planted this fall?
Right.
Okay, great.
Nice. Any additional questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to new business. I asked the board if they would allow me to postpone the proclamation for Eddie Clearwater. He unfortunately is under the weather, and we'd like to have him here when we do the proclamation. So I don't know if we need a motion.
Motion to postpone A, Nero.
Second, Parker.
Motion made and second. Any additional comments?
We'll just call it to a time indefinite because we don't know.
Yeah, until he can be here.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
New Business B, 20 North Cass Avenue, a restaurant, bar, and grill. Board to consider an ordinance approving a development permit request to allow the operation of a restaurant in the B1 Limited Business District. And Community Development Director Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor. The applicant is requesting to operate a new restaurant, bar, and grill called Johnny's Blitz in a currently vacant tenant space at 20 North Cass. The building is located within the Central Business District TIF, and the restaurant is a recommended use in the downtown. The Economic Development Committee reviewed the proposal at the October 5th meeting and gave the business a positive recommendation. I'm available for any questions, and John Disaki, the property owner and restaurateur, is here with his architect if there are any other questions. Thank you.
Would they like to come up and give the board a quick overview of what you're proposing?
Good evening, I'm John Nasogi. Thank you for allowing us to come and present to you. I am the property owner and will be the operating of the restaurant 20 North Cass. Mike Messerly is my architect, and he'll probably lead the presentation if you allow us to. And I'm available here to answer any questions.
Put my glasses on. Usually I'm used to the screen, big screen, not the small screen. Sorry. John introduced himself. He is a Westmont business owner and resident. He'll be the owner and operator of the establishment. He's a licensed structural engineer and a managing partner of DMD Engineering. I'm a registered architect in Illinois, 30-plus years of practicing in Illinois, and I'm also the sole proprietor of Messerly Architects. Overview of this proposed restaurant is an upscale casual burger bar and craft beer restaurant. We look at complementing the existing dining experiences that are in the Westmont area and in the historic downtown district. We don't feel that it would compete, but will add to what's already existing. Site selection is in the heart of downtown. It's the opportunity to fill a vacant space. Currently, it is vacant. The vision is a safe, family-friendly environment with a sports theme offering lunch and dinner. And it's an opportunity to attract patrons between the noon hour and the late afternoon, in addition to into the evening. John has experience in operating restaurants. He's the previous owner of 2 other restaurants. We're looking at a family-run business, and there's probably about 6 to 8 persons employed over the course of 2 shifts. This is the existing facility. We don't plan on doing much changes to the outside. This is the drawing of the same front. And these are our proposed changes, adding additional lights to complement the ones that are already there, putting in new storefront, keeping the existing awning but adding signage to the existing awning. And we're also looking at trying to create 1 storefront instead of currently where there's 2. So we're proposing that we close off one of the doors and just have 1 for the entry. Existing site with parking in the rear. Some of our proposed changes to the exterior in the rear would include improving the parking lot for the parking and making the rear stairs more code compliant by replacing them and putting guardrails on the existing concrete wall. This is the existing layout and floor plan of the current facility. So really split into two spaces, the bakery space and the old restaurant space. These are some of the photos of the existing. So the back of the restaurant, the front of the restaurant, the front of the bakery, and the rear of the bakery. So our proposal is to try and combine the 2 spaces, open the wall between the 2 as much as possible. The existing restrooms would remain. We would put a bar in the center of the space. The existing kitchen would remain in the back. We would close the entry to the north and keep the south entry. Our intent is to keep some casual seating in the restaurant as well, not only tables and chairs, but also sofas and lounge chairs. There's a small area that we designate as an entertainment area. We'd like to have local entertainment come to the restaurant and perform, opportunity for artwork, local artwork displays. The inside view, we're planning on keeping most of the brick and exposing most of the common brick. Most of the improvements would be in the ceiling and in the bar area. We'd like to raise the ceiling as high as possible, make it an open space. These are some photos that show the images of what we would like the restaurant to look like. We like the open bar, we like the tall ceilings, we like the more formal, upscale furnishings instead of the casual. It'll be a craft beer restaurant, so there'll be a number of different beers offered. Get another photo showing the high top tables with the more upholstered seats. The menu, John, do you want to talk about the menu? No? Okay. Menu is essentially appetizers and gourmet hamburgers. There'll also be, obviously, the craft beers. Burgers are in about the $10 range, so it's an upscale hamburger. We presented to the Economic Development Board. We believe that we're following the Westmont Comprehensive Plan. We're in line with the desires for that Cass Avenue district. We plan on improving the property to comply with current building codes, upgrade the accessibility requirements. Obviously, there's economic developments to adding a restaurant to the downtown area, to improve more traffic in this location, to bring tax revenue. Currently, we're not looking or applying for variances. We ask for the continuation of the existing parking variance. Our parking requirements are approximately 13 to 14 spaces, and the current variance is for 14 spaces. It's fairly quick, but questions?
Anybody, before I entertain a motion, anybody have any?
I had a question.
Yeah.
How about the occupancy for that restaurant? How many people would fit? You know, I've been in there, prior owners or whatever, and And with the furniture and the high-top tables and the bar taking floor space there, what is your occupancy expected?
The floor plan that we've shown shows 47 seats, which includes the seating at the bar. I don't think you can get much more in there without proper circulation. There may be more if there's a larger event, but I think we're in the range of
Under 50,
under 50.
to be comfortable.
Okay.
Additional questions? Seeing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second, Nero.
Motion's been made and second to approve. Anybody in the audience have a question? If not, I'd ask, trustee Addington raised his hand.
Again, they did make a real nice presentation at Economic Development. Just so everyone knows, the question then came back at my committee about video gaming, and there's no interest at this time in that. So it's not on their roadmap, if you will, just so everyone understands, because that question did come up.
And then if approved, what would be your timeframe as far as getting going and hopefully opening and all those things?
Well, I was shooting for Super Bowl, but a couple of things came up, may push us to probably hockey season playoffs.
Nice.
Mets.
They're scared.
All right, then no additional questions. I'll, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes,
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
We look forward to the ribbon cutting there.
absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. Thank you.
And again, no sample.
Look who's here.
New business C, developer's note for Bradford Westmont, the 1 LLC. Board to consider an ordinance authorizing a developer's note for Bradford Westmont 1 LLC in conjunction with the development of the Mariano store, 150 West 63rd Street in Westmont. Attorney Zemanek or Director Parker, do you have?
I'll go ahead, Mayor. This item was approved in concept previously by the board. You approved an economic development agreement with Bradford that provided requirements for them to develop a Mariano store down at 63rd and Cass. And in return, the village agreed to reimburse the developer for certain redevelopment expenses. This is in a TIF district. The TIF statute allows the village to reimburse the developer for certain expenses incurred in bringing a new development into that district. The payments in this case are being made from the real estate tax increment that this development has generated and also a share of the sales tax that this development is generating. So there's no out-of-pocket public tax money that's being used to fund this reimbursement. The amount is $3 million, and the agreement specified that once the store opened and was operational, that you guys would approve this ordinance approving the developer note.
I have a motion.
Motion to approve, Barry.
Second, Addington.
Motion made and seconded to approve as presented on the question. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes,
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business D, a 5-year agreement with Comcast for Metro E services. Board to consider an ordinance approving an agreement with Comcast to provide network services to connect the Westmont Fire Department to Addison AC/DC dispatch with a 50 MB circuit and 500 North Cass for fire headquarters with a 100 MB circuit. And we've got Director Liljeberg. There, I said it right. Yeah.
Pretty much what this is for is similar to how we interconnect with Downers Grove with a point-to-point microwave. This agreement allows us to interconnect to Addison through using Comcast fiber, which the ETSB just negotiated an agreement with Comcast to provide their entire backbone for their network. And then the second 100 meg circuit is interconnect the police department to Fire HQ for data traffic and for station alerting down to their location.
Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve, Barry.
Second Guzzo?
Motion made and seconded. Any additional comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
New business E, amending ordinance for abandonment of bicycles. The board to consider ordinance amending Chapter 78 Traffic and Vehicles of the Westmont Code to add regulations regarding bicycle parking and abandonment of bicycles. And we've got Director Ramsey to give us some additional information.
Thank you, Mayor. The village staff is recommending changes to current ordinance prohibiting parking and abandoning of bicycles left on village streets or other public properties for more than 72 hours. Myself and Sergeant Gruen have been working on this ordinance with the assistance of John Zimnick, his attorney's office. The old ordinance never specified exactly the amount of time we had to confiscate a bicycle. With the new ordinance, it states exactly 72 hours. After 72 hours, we have the right now with this new ordinance to, if we have to confiscate a bicycle that we deem as a hazard or a nuisance. Before, it was never written in the ordinance exactly the amount of time, so there would be bicycles sitting out there for possibly months on end, and we never had it was never written in the ordinance that we had the right to actually cut the chain if we needed to move the bike. It also spells out specifically certain locations throughout the village that are prohibited for bikes to be chained to, where we really didn't, it was more generic before, now it's more specific at where you can chain a bike and where you can't.
The only clarification I'd make is that if a bicycle is parked in a manner that impedes or obstructs pedestrian traffic or fire hydrant, I believe we have the right to impound immediately if it's a public health safety question, issue.
Do I have a motion?
Motion by Little.
Second, Addington.
Motion been made and seconded. On the question.
One question, how do you determine if it's been there 72 hours? Like marking for a parking ticket or something? Is that how?
Pretty much, it will depend on staff and the police department to kind of keep an eye on it. And also, residential complaints. Once a resident complains about something, that's usually where we notice first is when a resident complains about it. And then we'll keep track of it. Once they complain about it, we'll go out there and check it. Every day we'll drive by and see if it's still there. And if it is, then after 72 hours, we'll cut the chain.
I think it's a good thing, because I just noticed not too long ago, somebody had one like chained up to a parkway tree.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it was just left there, and it's like, who knows if he's coming back or he's not for it. So.
And one thing also we're going to change is that we're going to call a police officer out, and they're going to make a report on every one of these. Before, the Public Works would just cut the chain and take it back to our shop. Well, now we're going to have the police officers make out a report, so whoever the proper owner is can follow up with the police department, and they'll have a record of where the bike is, and they can come and get it if they need to. That's another procedural thing that Sergeant Gruen wanted to change.
Is there any sort of fine, like towing a car?
I don't believe so, no, but after 6 months, written in the ordinance, the police department, if nobody's claimed that bicycle after 6 months, they can go to auction with it.
Any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business F, declaration of village property as surplus. The board to consider an ordinance declaring certain village-owned vehicles as surplus property to be sold at the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference auction. Director Ramsey.
All these properties that are identified in this attachment have outlived their useful life and is outdated, non-functioning, or replaced or otherwise non-economically maintainable anymore. These vehicles will be disposed of by auction through Adenoff Auction Services on behalf of DuPage Mayors and Managers beginning in November of 2016. These properties, upon declared surplus and sold, will remove from the village property inventory. Staff recommends approval of this declaration of listed vehicles as surplus and method of disposal. We went through and evaluated all these vehicles, Virgil and myself, and we determined that all these vehicles and equipment has outlived their life, and it's time to declare them surplus and sell them off.
And by law, we're required to declare property is surplus. So do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Barry.
Second, Little?
Motion made and second on the question. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business G, regular meeting schedule modification. Board to consider a motion to amend the regular meeting schedule adjusting the November 24th, 2016 and the December 22nd, 2016 meeting dates. And this is similar to what we did last year, and I'd ask Manager May to add some additional information.
Well, this is with our pattern of being every 2 weeks as opposed to a monthly pattern. The 24th, actually, your meeting date for November 24th falls right on Thanksgiving. So we're making an assumption you're going to want to cancel that meeting. Similarly, December 22nd is very close to Christmas as Christmas Eve. I don't know if that would be a conflict or not, but we've got and this action tonight would be to cancel those 2 dates just outright, and then if options could include rescheduling them to another date if you thought that was appropriate, or waiting until a determination was made, and we could just call a special meeting and publish it separately.
And I think the staff, since they did it last year, they're going to make sure that there's no business that's left unaddressed because we canceled 2 meetings. So it worked extremely well last year. So we're looking for a motion.
November 10th will be very busy.
Yes. Yes.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second, Nero.
Motion been made and seconded on the question. Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
At this time, I'd ask Jill Ziegler, our Community Development Director, to please come to the podium. We have, it's an honor when we can recognize our employees for doing outstanding work, and also those who retire. So
Yes.
Jill's got a presentation.
Yes, tonight we're honoring Karen Remkes. She's here with her family today. She has been employed with the Village of Westmont for 23 years. She was with the engineering department for most of her tenure and knew Westmont like the back of her hand. Her valuable knowledge will be truly missed, as she was the engineering go-to person. On a personal level, I love talking to Karen about her travels. She especially likes going to the Florida Keys. She just got back from a trip out east. She also liked to do high-speed snowmobiling. She can personally go about 30 miles an hour faster than I can, and you should check out her pictures sometime. Her love for her grandkids, volunteering at the Arboretum, her yard work, and her art. If you ever get a chance, ask her to show you her beautiful sketchbook. I'm so happy for Karen that she's now going to be able to fully enjoy all of her interests, but she will sure be missed. Congratulations, Karen.
Again, on behalf of the village, we'd like to honor you with this plaque as Administrative Assistant 2 and member of our Community Development Department from August the 4th, 1993 to October the 14th, 2016. It's recognizing your 23 years of dedicated service. So congratulations. There's your plaque, and that's a little something for you. Now it's your turn. If you'd like to say something, yes.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure working here, and especially growing up and seeing how the village has developed and grown, and it's been, very interesting work to do. So thank you very much, all of you.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last item on the agenda, miscellaneous. Does anybody have any? Yes?
One thing, go Cubs.
Yeah, amen.
And I wish I knew the exact times, but on Halloween evening, at the Westmont Community Center, the Park District runs like a fun fair entertainment. So it's in the gym, and I hate to say 5 o'clock because they've been adjusting it, but it's somewhere around 5 to 7. So other than that,
One other thing, I just want to remind people to vote, because if you don't vote, don't complain. It's,
Right.
it's just, it's a privilege to vote, and people should go out and vote. That's all.
anything else? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move Guzzo.
Second, Little.
Okay, roll call, please.
I'll put my page. Okay, Guzzo and Little, right? Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
The meeting is adjourned. I'd like to thank everybody for attending this evening, and have a safe Halloween. Thank you.